Many times we've heard of the supposed flat earth map, and there have been many people that have tried to produce one. Last week, GeoTruth NZ attempted to produce his own one, but failed miserably. Well, this week I bring you someone who thinks they have made a 100% accurate map, and his name? Antonio Subirat. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we take a look at Antonio's map, let's all remind ourselves on the most commonly used flat earth map. This is the Gleason's map. It is an azimuthal equidistant projection which has many flaws. First off, it is a projection. This generally means that it is derived from some other shape. The countries become more and more distorted the further south you go, and the distances are all over the place. It is one way to represent the countries of the world, which is a 3D object, onto a 2D surface. This is another way. This is the Mercator map, which shows a cylindrical projection, and whilst better than the Gleason, it still has flaws. It is probably the most well-known map in today's day and age, but again, there is distortion. Greenland, for example, is not that big, as this map distorts countries as the latitude increases from the equator. Another one you may be familiar with is this one. This is the Robinson map. The meridian lines curve gently as you move to the outside of the map, but there is still distortion at the poles, although admittedly less so than the Mercator. So as you can see, it is very difficult to project a 3D globe onto a 2D surface. Admittedly, Antonio Subirat is a flat earther, so he doesn't have to do that. But what he does have to do is get the country sizes correct, and he thinks he's done that. In his self-published book, The Book of the Sun, Antonio presented to the world this. So let's take a look and see what he has produced. So Antonio feels like he has achieved his goal of getting the countries the right sizes, which on first glance he looks like he has. However, what has he sacrificed in order to do that? Well, quite a bit it turns out. First off, let's see if his country sizes are actually correct. Australia is approximately 4,000 kilometres across. So let's use Antonio's Australia as a marker or ruler, if you will, to see if he got other country sizes correct. From the west coast of Mexico to the east coast of northern Greenland, it's approximately 8,000 kilometres. And Antonio's map seems to agree with that, as two widths of Australia fit into that distance. Let's try another one. 1 2/3 of our ruler fit from the north coast of Africa to the south tip, which should be approximately 6,600 kilometres. This in reality is more like 7,500 kilometres. Not a huge amount of difference here, but we're being rough, so we'll let that slide. What about distances between countries and continents? Has he got that right? Well, no. The distance between Cape Town and Rio de Janeiro is 6,056 kilometres. This is backed up by the fact that you can fly between those two cities in around 11 hours. According to Antonio's map, and one in which, let's remember, he is happy with in terms of scale, the distance between Rio and Cape Town is 5 1/6 of our rulers. A ruler which, let's remember, is 4,000 kilometres long. That means on Antonio's map The distance between the two cities is over 20,000 kilometres. Now this would mean that any flight you get between the two cities would have to move at an average speed of over 1,800 kilometres per hour. A Boeing 777's top speed is just over 1,000 kilometres an hour, so as you can see, far short on the required speed. Maybe we've been unfair picking that particular route. Let's do another one and see if the same happens. We'll pick a shorter route this time. London to Athens is a distance of just over 2,300 kilometres. Yet on Antonio's map and at his scale, the distance is less than half of our ruler, which would be less than 2,000 kilometres. So what we have here is a map that appears to have country sizes depicted fairly accurately. But this has unfortunately meant that the distance between the countries are now all wrong, especially as you get further from the North Pole. Let's take a closer look and see what else Antonio has got wrong. Madagascar is not in the right place. The Caribbean islands are a mess. India is far too small. Sri Lanka is too small. New Zealand is too far away from Australia. The Arctic Ocean is too small. Need I go on? We could go on and on dissecting Antonio's map, showing just how wrong it is and how little it matches the real world. However, that would probably take all day. Instead, I thought I'll end on this interesting piece of information. Antonio thinks that he has come up with a never before seen flat earth map, one in which he thinks explains everything. In fact, I'm fairly sure he prides himself on this. He really thinks that he has depicted the world in the way that it is. Well, unfortunately for him, it looks very, very, very similar to the Pierce quincunxial projection. So, which is it? A mere coincidence or more flat earth plagiarism? I'll let you decide on that one. Thank you all very, very much for watching today. I do hope you enjoyed it on what was the first video of 2020. If you did like it, then please do like and subscribe. It would be thoroughly appreciated. I have been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday for a brand new Tinfoiler. See you then.